Yes, indeed. Hello, everybody. This is the Slim Nation, and I'm Slim Overton coming to you from my home. Anyway, just wanted to come on here and do a little video about the basketball players that sat on the bench, and I was one of them in high school. And you see my hat, B-ball 52, which stands for the number I had at IC Norcom when I played basketball, when I wore the uniform. And under that, it says bench proud. We were proud to be the bench players because a lot of people joked us about being bench players, but didn't realize how important we were to the team. Just imagine if you only had the first five playing, the first five that started mostly every game, and that's all you had was five players. And you didn't have those backup players sitting on the bench, warming that bench, and uh, just as capable of being ready to go in when needed. And a lot of times you had the sixth and seventh man who were regularly in the games because of their play, their power play. But you had the other bench players that often or sometimes didn't even make it into the game, but were prepared when needed and when they were called in. Often when the team was far ahead in the game, a whole different five would come in and replace the starting five in order for them to get rest, or it was no need for them to continue to be playing if the game was out of hand. So it was up to it gave the bench an opportunity to come in and play and get those minutes that you would need at the end of the year in order to receive a letter. Even though you on the bench, if you got in enough games and received enough minutes during that year, you would also receive a letter. I received my letter my senior year and being a bench player. But obviously, I got in enough games and accumulated enough minutes when they were giving out letters at the end of the year. I received it, along with some other bench players. Now, it didn't guarantee you to get a letter just by being on the team. Like I mentioned before, you would have to be involved in enough games and have enough minutes in order to qualify to receive that letter. But it was many bench players out there, or many guys that were on the team and didn't get the recognition because not being the starting five or the stars of the team, the ones that played the most minutes every game and got the recognition with being able to score the points. And a lot of those bench players, a lot of us bench players, had the skills and can come in and keep maintain the game while the stars or the starting five would get a rest or might have been injured. And the reason I say we were prepared because we had the same practice that the starting five had. We did the same running, the same conditioning, the same hard work every night at practice. And we practiced every night we didn't have a game. And sometimes on Saturday, if the coach was upset with us because of a previous game we played, he didn't felt like we didn't put out the way we should. So Saturday morning practice in order to correct, or sometimes we would think it was to punish us for not playing up to our expectations. But I just want people to recognize or not always joke the guys that were on the bench. And we can take it. I joke just as much as anybody from being a bench player and saying that I need to go into the IC Norcom Hall of Fame as having the most bench time. But in reality, we were just as important to the team as anybody else that started or played more than we did. And uh, often we didn't have to spend the money to wash our uniforms because we didn't get in the game. And we didn't sweat it. So just put them away for the next game and not expend the expenditures to wash our uniforms. But that was something that didn't happen too often. Most of the time, all of us got in the games, even if it was just for a few minutes um, or at the end of the game. And we had some people that uh, were offended by getting called to go in the games when like 2 minutes left. And I've seen people refuse to go in, and that usually was their last time on the team. But whenever you had to were called to go in, if it was the last 2 minutes or last 3 minutes or whatever, you answered the call if you were a bench player. And it made a difference the next time in the coach's eyes that you probably would get more time. Sometimes the games would be so tight and it just um, didn't make sense, or some of the players on the first five would be hot and just scoring out of this world, and it didn't make sense to take them out of the game if they physically could stay in the whole game. So, but anyway, I got this hat to honor all the bench players who ever played in high school or recreation or college or that play in the pros and sit on the bench, just to let people know that those people that sit on the bench probably could play in most places for another team if it came down to it, because they had to beat out quite a few players in order to be on the team, to be a member of the team. So keep that in mind. We were no slouches, the ones that played on the bench. So just have a level of respect. And like I said, we can take the jokes of being bench players, but not everybody even made it to the point to be a bench player, to wear the uniform of IC Northam or any other high schools or college teams. It took a certain amount of skill and ability to even make the team, even if it wasn't as much in abilities, it was much in the heart you had and the dedication you had to the team. So sometimes a guy that showed more dedication to the team and teamwork would beat out a guy that probably had more ability, but was more about self than the team. And sometimes the coaches noticed that and would rather put someone that was more dedicated or had the heart or uh, wanted it more than somebody else that just wanted to self gratify. Anyway, that's all I had to say. I just wanted to put that out there for you all. And just keep in mind when you go to these games and you see the girls or the guys on the bench, have a certain level of respect for them as well, because they worked hard to get to the bench or to be on the team just as much as the people that are starting. And you can see when they come in, a lot of times the level of play doesn't stop. It's just that, you have to keep, coaches have to keep that kind of consistency with the first five that he chooses to put out there, because they usually work better together. But, you know, some people can come right off the bench and you can see and contribute just as much and just as important. Keep that in mind. This is Slim Overton for the Slim Nation and Slim Talk, coming to you just with a little information about how important it is to respect the bench.